Psychologically, overthinking is not simply thinking a lot or thinking deeply. It is a specific pattern of repetitive, unproductive cognition that tends to cycle the same ground without moving forward. Clinical literature divides it into two related but distinct forms: rumination, which dwells on the past while replaying conversations and dissecting mistakes, and worry, which projects into the future while constructing elaborate scenarios about what might go wrong. Both of these are driven by anxiety, by a brain attempting to achieve control through cognition and finding only more uncertainty. It depletes energy, disturbs sleep, and leaves its mark in tension and fatigue because it is, at its core, a stress response. Introversion has nothing to do with any of this because, in the actual sense of it, it is not a thinking pattern, but a stimulation preference that is deeply rooted in how the nervous system is wired. The introverted brain operates with a higher baseline of arousal, meaning it requires less external input to reach its optimal state. So loud environments, constant conversation, and high stimulation settings quickly become overwhelming, not because they trigger anxiety, but because they overload the system. The introvert's withdrawal from social events is not to wrestle with thoughts, but to regulate them. Quietness and stillness allow them to find the calm that allows thinking to happen at all. When they sit quietly, they are often not trapped in mental loops, but freely exploring, like turning ideas over, making connections, and following threads of thought wherever they lead. This experience is replenishing rather than draining because it is a kind of mental wandering that restores energy instead of consuming it. Depth of thought is not the same as distress of thought, even though both happen in silence. And this, unfortunately, is where the confusion enters, because overthinking and introverted contemplation both occur internally and are both invisible to outside observers. They are easily mistaken for one another, but the person living them knows the difference immediately. Overthinking feels like a cage, like thought happening to you rather than by you. It is involuntary, repetitive, and marked by the emotional weight of anxiety. On the other hand, introverted thinking, when it is healthy, feels like agency, like moving through a familiar landscape at your own pace. But it is also important that you know that introverts can certainly become overthinkers. Anxiety does not discriminate based on personality type, and acquired disposition offers no immunity to rumination or worry. But when an introvert overthinks, it is because anxiety has entered the picture, not because introversion itself produced the effect. The two remain separate, each capable of coexisting but not casually connected.